And today I'm talking with Andy Gent, who is the CEO and founder of Revector. Good name, Revector. Andy, it's about fraud, this, isn't it? It's about mobile fraud, your company, and addressing mobile fraud. Not just addressing it, but actually finding some of the naughty boys who are involved in it.
Absolutely. Revector is a company that I started 10 years ago, and we're actually now working over 60 countries around the world, looking and finding mobile fraud in the operators.
Now, mobile fraud's an enormous subject, and it's huge. We know it is. And of course, many of the operators decline to give figures on the amount of fraud there is in their networks. They decline to say how much they're losing as a result of it. And many of them ignore it altogether. Is that still the case?
I believe it is, yes. Different operators take different tact. Some address it directly on. Others don't even action and look at it. And others take a small amount of interest in it and clear fraud.
Is it because they're not interested?
Of things, there are, like everything, there's an 80-20 rule. Sometimes 80% of the fraud is in one area and 20% in another, so they'll look at the big fraud. And I've had companies say to me, we're not interested in that, it's too small for us to address. But too small could be 1 million.
Exactly. And of course, under these circumstances, the operator loses the money, but it's the subscribers who pay.
Absolutely. The subscribers always pay for it at the end of the day, but the people who lose out are governments, because they lose revenue, the shareholders, the companies itself, not only just on the fraud side, on the money, but they also lose out in quality as well.
Are you involved particularly in the detection and the elimination of GSM gateway and SIM box fraud? To those out there who don't know what that means, what is it?
Quite simply, it's an arbitrage. It's a play where you can buy local minutes for a much less price than you can buy international minutes. And the differential between local and international minutes could be as much as 10 cents a minute. So for instance, somebody making calls into Afghanistan would pay one price, but if they go through a SIM box or a GSM gateway, they'll pay a price which is 10 cents less. And therefore, if somebody pumps 1 million minutes through these SIM boxes, they can lose $100,000 very quickly.
So how do you identify it? How do you detect it before you eliminate it? How does the system work?
Basically, we've devised a system which has been developed in the UK. It's software-based, and we put a couple of probes in country. We then make calls from all the grey routes around the world. These are the bad routes, the nasty routes, which are trading in telephone minutes. And we make these calls from many countries, from the Philippines to Colombia to Africa, into the country concerned. Once it reaches the country, we monitor that, and without being intrusive into the mobile operator network, we can actually find that the minutes which are coming through the grey routes. So we can identify the SIM cards, or the MISDNs as they're called, and we can inform the operator within a minute of finding these, and they can suspend it and then save the money.
You appreciate where it is and you can stop it. You call it a MISDN?
A MISDN, yes. A SIM card or a MISDN, that's the name of the number.
OK. You talked about grey routes. Is it a case then that is most of this fraud occurring in developing countries? You talked about, parts of Africa, you talked about the Philippines and so on. Is it particularly in developing countries, or is it just all over the world?
It's worldwide. It's worldwide. Where there is an opportunity for an arbitrage, then it will happen. You can talk about developing countries such as Haiti. The government has put a 5-cent tax on to help the rebuilding, but the gateway operators see that as an opportunity, and that has been inundated with gateways. But in the UK, over the last 10 years, many of the operators have been affected by gateways. So,
are we talking about organised crime here?
We're talking about everybody from the simple businessman who can go out and buy a £10,000 SIM box, install it and make some money, to major organised crime, which then leads into other frauds and other crimes such as money laundering, trafficking, etc.
Fascinating. But also, I know, because we were talking about this off screen earlier, you can actually identify where some of these bad boys really are.
Yeah, what we've actually done is we've taken our standard product, which we've sold now into over 60 countries around the world in the last 4 years, so it just shows you the size of the issue to most of the major operators. But we can also, now we can actually go in country, we can bring equipment in to locate where the perpetrators are, down to a building or a room, and then with working with the local security services or the police, we can go in there and actually arrest these.
What about for the future for the Revector then? You've been going 10 years, you said. You've got this service out there. What, you provide a sort of monthly service or an annual service? Or?
We provide an annual service or a monthly service depending on the operator. Every operator, every country is different, and their approach to it is different. So we provide a basic service which finds these and they can cut off within moments. But we also provide an advanced service where we can help the agencies to locate and find.
Are you continuing to develop the service?
Yeah, we've got a team of software engineers from all UK universities helping us to develop new products which all revolve around fraud and bringing back the revenues that the companies are basically losing.
Really interesting stuff. Andy Gent, thank you.
Thank you very much.